I've got the answer right here, ladies and gentlemen, to everything that ails you. Now step right up.
One who quacks like a duck about his salves and remedies. The cruel practice of making money on people's worries feared throughout the years as quackery.
I said cured of backache, nervousness,
any number of diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have to take my word for it.
Welcome back, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, young and old. Gather around for another episode of Quackery. We're back after a week off due to, some technical issues, but I fixed those, aka I sat on my cord and it broke my microphone plug thing, so that's fixed. That's Amazon will get it to you as quick as a flash. This is Will the Pill coming right at you with John Boy. We are doing apple cider vinegar, which I'm sure all of you know and have heard that does everything, right? And just a reminder, our friends over at Jupiter CBD, if you use the code Quackery when you do your first order, you'll get a 20% off on that order. So check it out. It's good stuff, organic. All right, John, I'm sure you sold every weight loss thing under the sun. What the hell have you heard that apple cider vinegar can do for you?
Yeah. So I used to sell the Garcinia, and that I was before the days of the apple cider vinegar. But now, if you see a Garcinia sales page, a lot of times it'd have the apple cider vinegar diet with it.
Nice.
So, and I was like really confused when that started circulating. Like, what? And I guess the diet was huge or something, so they just paired Garcinia with it. Yeah, I know, it's so crap. It's just the worst. But yeah, I don't really know much about it. I know that it's probably just hype, and I know that one company, Bragg's, they probably got rich off of it.
I guarantee you Bragg got just filthy rich off of this shit. And that's what I got a picture of here on the next slide for you.
Oh,
Bragg, baby. It's like the best one. It's the organic. It's the one everyone always says, oh, if you don't now have this stuff, this is not going to be the real deal. You got to get the Bragg, So let's just go with what the hell is apple cider vinegar? How's it made? All that stuff. So obviously, apple cider. It's from apples. So you basically just chop up apples, let them sit in water, and the natural sugars will ferment, and actually they'll make ethanol, which is alcohol. So you're basically making like hard apple cider. And then the bacteria are going to convert the alcohol eventually into vinegar, acetic acid. Just the same way, like if you leave wine, I don't know exactly the process, but you can take like your old wine that you don't drink, and you can, store it until it becomes, red wine vinegar. And then you can use that, toss your salad, John. I know you like tossing your salads. Or does Nicole toss the salads in your house?
Oh shit!
A nice.
I'm not going to answer that. Are you waiting for an answer?
They're married now. They're none of that fun stuff anymore. Not the fun. That's marriage. All right, so here's a list of things. It was very difficult because it's one of these things where the list of claimed benefits is so long, it's almost impossible to like put on one page. But this is some stuff that I found. Most of the things that you claim for, obviously, number one, weight loss. They think it'll fight heart disease, by helping with your cholesterol as well. Controlling blood sugar, preventing cancer. It should have probiotic gastrointestinal benefits. Provide nutritional support. So like provide you with key nutrients like minerals and electrolytes and stuff like that. Like good old Tom Brady, the Super Bowl winner, would love, right? Did you watch the game last night?
Did he win? No,
he won.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Shout out to Pliability Boy, TB12.
How much was the score? I didn't see.
I think he has
what was the score?
Six Super Bowls, or I don't know, something weird like 39 to 36 to 12, 39 to 12.
Oh, wow, it was a shutout.
Something. I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a blowout. Yeah,
man.
the Kansas City got whooped, man. And there's a bunch of conspiracies. Dude. My brother-in-law actually just sent me a text. He said that the scoreboard, is hacked by the Chinese to make Tom Brady win, and then that the refs are paid off by the Russians to make Tom Brady win. I said, my God, the political stuff is way more feasible than this. Anyway.
That's crazy, man.
Okay, nutritional support. Apple cider vinegar is supposed to help remove moles, not like the little furry creatures in the backyard. I don't know what they would do with it, but moles, like the, on your skin. Tooth whitening, allergies, acne, arthritis, hiccups, leg cramps. As a detox, of course, you always hear that. Bloating and gas.
I'm surprised teeth whitening's on there because isn't it an acidic, right? Wouldn't it tear the enamel off?
Bingo. You already answered that one. Boom. It will whiten your teeth, but it will just completely tear the enamel off. So we will get into that a little bit more. See, John, he's been paying attention on these, man. All right. So you remember, anytime you hear about this, they're like, oh, it's only good if you got the mother in it. You've heard of the mother?
I honestly haven't, man. I never looked at this.
If you guys have bought any of the apple cider vinegar, so the one with Bragg in it, if you let it sit, it'll get all that film at the bottom. Yeah. And all the cloudy stuff in there, that's the mother. It's basically just the bacteria catalyst. So what they do is the reason everyone thinks Bragg is the best, they share their whole thing is just continually with the same mother. It's just the bacteria that's breaking down the alcohol to vinegar. So they're like, oh, you have a little bit of that mother in there. That's the thing that's helping, it's like a probiotic. It's like a, that's what all the good is, Bacteria converts the alcohol into acetic acid, which is vinegar. So that's apple cider vinegar. So they actually said that a bunch of, if you buy a bunch of the apple cider vinegar in the store, it may be clear or almost clear, just a little, discolored, and it doesn't have the mother. So everyone said, oh, that's why we got to buy Bragg, because it's got the mother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are recording remote today, and I thought that John was just appalled by the picture of the mother because it's kind of gross looking, and so he made this funny face, and he just froze there, and I was like, man, he really thinks this stuff is gross. I was like, oh, come on, John, come on, you got another face to that.
What is that? That's gross looking. Yeah, it is.
I told you, man. So yeah, that's what I was saying. It sort of looks like, I mean, it is bacteria. So it's bacteria. It's kind of but it sort of is like boogers. Like if you put some snot in a bowl.
Yeah. Jesus.
But yeah, that's the stuff they say that, the Bragg has in it. That's why it's the best one. Unfiltered. It still has the mother. I will say this, so that the vinegar, the acetic acid in there, has been shown to reduce the absorption of starches and potentially slow digestion, which can lead to a sensation of feeling full. That's promising, right? But then in one study, they said the reduction in morning blood sugar levels after drinking 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar the night before over several days was almost negligible. It's very small. That was on one study. And then other studies on weight loss have involved mostly animals like mice. So this is from Harvard, they're saying that the effectiveness on people has been very mild, and they need to do more controlled studies on that, obviously. But the stuff is interesting. It's just very, it's not substantial that a lot of what it does. For instance, there was a study in Japan where they did they had to do the 2 tablespoons, but they did them separately. They mix it with water. The people's weight dropped by 1 kilogram over 12 weeks, which is not, that much. What's that? 2.2 pounds or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, that's something, but that's 12 weeks. Then they said whenever they stopped doing it, they gained that 2.2 pounds back.
You have to take it with Garcinia though.
That's right. That's true, man. See, there you go. And then another study in the United Kingdom where they were saying it suppresses appetite. They were saying it's because they did this study where they had 3 different drinks. They had a nice tasting apple cider vinegar drink that they drank, one that was sort of medium palatability, and then one that was bad, was not good, and then a non-vinegar drink. So so one that was real vinegary, very nasty kind of tasting, just drinking straight vinegar. And so what they said, but the one that the slightly palatable and then the not hardly palatable vinegar drinks, they felt nauseated, and that depressed their appetite. So the people who had the worst tasting vinegar had lost the most weight because they weren't hungry. I mean, that makes sense, but like nobody really wants to be nauseated, so they won't eat. I mean, it's sort of it's one of those things where like you'd rather probably just eat, do it on your own than to do something that makes you nauseated. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I'll get to the end of this one on weight loss. I'll tell you, I did try this one for a couple weeks one time. All right, well, let's see. So, other studies claim that taking it with meals will help digest your proteins faster and then generate higher levels of growth hormone, which is then they claim that breaks down the fat cells, but there's no evidence that any of that works in practice. It's some weird, roundabout math. Like, oh, well, if you break down the proteins faster, then your body will break down the fats. It doesn't make any sense because you still have to. Yeah, I guess they're thinking you're not going to store the fats. I don't know. That's just not true. And then they also say that since apple cider vinegar should have a lot of pectin in it, which is a certain dietary fiber that's supposed to make you feel full and therefore, satiated, all those sort of things.
Is there no sugar in the apple cider vinegar?
No. So really in alcohol, so the sugar gets converted to alcohol. So there's very little sugar in most alcohols unless it's like added back in. But then once it's converted from alcohol to vinegar, it's zero. Like all the sugar gets eaten by the bacteria.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, but anyway, that pectin, it's actually funny. The pectin is actually in the skin of the apples. So the apple cider vinegar has almost none in it. So that was just like a whole, that's all from this website, The Conversation. They analyzed it all. But yeah, anyway, getting back to what I did, the apple cider vinegar, because my mom's like a real big believer in it, not for weight loss, but for like what the health benefits of like the mother and like, nutritional support and these sort of things. I would just take it. Would pour it up in a shot glass, like a half a shot, and shoot it, and then drink some water. And man, my stomach was hurting so bad I had to stop. Like it was making my stomach hurt. I felt like it was burning me inside. Which we'll talk about that.
And it is gross, right?
Very acidic.
It tastes gross.
It doesn't taste good. No, I'd say that white vinegar tastes much better.
Jesus.
And it just and that's vinegar. It wasn't the taste of it that got me. It's like the feeling afterwards because I can handle
Yeah, did it not hurt your?
I'll shoot
your
tequila,
mom?
Man. I don't give a shit.
Was she having stomach issues?
So she has this funny thing that she always did, where she would like drink water before it, and then she would put. She's sort of like a hippie like this. She would put local bee pollen on some local honey. She would put like more on the honey, and then she would shoot her apple cider vinegar and then chase it with a spoonful of honey.
Oh, crazy.
That sounds hilarious.
Sounds great, though. I love honey.
I mean, yeah, I love honey, too. And she was mad because this local place she was buying from, like, theirs was mixed. It was, like, half local and half, like,
from China.
The fake stuff. Yeah, that whole documentary about the bees and the honey, man, it's all like, different sort of syrups they put in it to fill it out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Have you ever taken? You'd never taken apple cider vinegar?
No, I've never. I mean, I see it in the pantry all the time, and it looks gross. But I think she uses it for cooking. I mean, or something.
Yeah.
I've never taken a shot of it though.
Yeah, actually, it is good for. I was joking, but it makes a good vinaigrette. Yeah,
for when we toss the salads. Yeah,
that's it. Now you're back to the tossing of your salads. I don't know why I did that accent.
Like
seemed appropriate. I don't know, like a nice New Jersey accent for the tossing of the salads. Apologies to any of our listeners in New Jersey. If you've tossed a nice salad, good for you. Have fun. We're not judging you. All right, so we'll talk about blood sugar and diabetes. So it's sort of we sort of discussed it in the weight loss study. It has to do with satiety, like being satisfied. So there was a small study. They said they added vinegar to a meal, and it would reduce glucose and insulin levels for at least 45 minutes after and then they felt full for 2 hours after. Now, who knows if that has to do with like the way that the apple cider vinegar is, getting in there and making them a little nauseous. I don't know, but that's interesting. It's just 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But if that could be a decent amount for someone who has, some, hard to control blood glucose levels, especially postprandial, which would be after meals. So
do they make this
interesting.
in a pill format by any chance? Just asking.
They do, but from what I understand, it doesn't really do the trick. Because they have, it's like, dried or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And so you take it in the capsules, but I don't think like what they put in those has been shown to do anything over the, the actual vinegar. I actually couldn't find anything on the tablets, on any of this health stuff. Everybody said any of the little benefits you can find that we're going through are from basically the unfiltered, like Bragg, basically.
Yeah. Because no one's making... Bragg's not out there saying it does all this stuff. Like, they've been selling this stuff forever, No,
and that's impressive because, they've been selling it, and they are not the ones trying to say, I'm sure, you go to their website, they may have, that it's, good for you in all these different ways, but they don't advertise any of that stuff. So, that's good on them, man. I mean, hey, they make the best product, and they're reaping the benefits of, maybe some media hype and some, maybe, over.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's I'm sure Dr. Oz or some asshole, basically said that it'll make you lose 100 pounds in a week, and everybody's like, oh my God, Bragg. Ah, I'm gonna buy it. Come to the pharmacy, kicking the door on. You guys have Bragg. I need Bragg apple cider vinegar now. So, and there's another study. People who had type 2 diabetes reported when they added vinegar to a high carbohydrate meal, it did reduce the rise of their next glucose level that they checked. So it's not significant, but it's something. So they did say in the study, though, that it was only would work well for really high glycemic index foods, which would be like the fast carbs, breads, pasta, white carbs, basically potatoes, that sort of thing. But they said things that had more fiber, low glycemic index or whatever, or would be not as much affected. Because I think, and that makes sense actually, because we saw on the first study, if it works for like 45 minutes afterwards on your blood glucose level, those fast carbs, that's when they're going to be getting the release of insulin, because they get a fast release of insulin because they're processed quickly in our body. So then you get a slow kind of carb, like a, something with a lot of fiber. That's a, carb with a lot of fiber, and that's going to have a slow curve of, body's going to have to release insulin slowly over time to digest that.
Oh yeah.
That's why those things it's better to do those for people, eat those for people who have diabetes, have those low glycemic carbohydrates. So that's interesting that it would work for the fast carbs, but they are saying don't combine your apple cider vinegar if you're like on insulin, because it may mess with your dosing. So you would want to definitely consult with your doctor before doing anything like that. It's not going to be like I said, it's not going to be a ton anyway. So if you're not if you're not on a dosing where you have to get exactly dialed in, you could try it. I mean, it's one of these things that's safe to try. Just make sure you're not gonna really, really mess up your prescription insulin units. But I mean, that's interesting, and you wonder how much of that is like, your stomach being sort of nauseated and slowly digesting things. But I mean, hey, if it works, and because if you mix this with other stuff, like, and if you put it on salad dressing and stuff, it tastes fine mixed with other stuff. So like, you put it with olive oil and make a little, vinaigrette.
Yeah.
It's gonna, create it's gonna taste fine and maybe slow down your gastric emptying. And that's what some of our drugs that we have do. For instance, like, that's one of the things that metformin does, which is a go-to type 2 diabetes drug. It's going to delay gastric emptying, which does the same thing. It should help slow down the insulin spike from carbs. So, I mean, if it does it a little bit, that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, it is.
So then in heart disease, one of the main things is the whole pectin argument. So It's kind of the stuff you remember that when that whole thing came out, like, oh, drink a glass of red wine a day, it's good for your heart. You remember that?
Yeah.
So it's because of all these different plant pigments that are in the skin of these different dark colored fruits. So grapes, the red grape skin has those resveratrol or whatever the hell it is, and then there's something similar. The pectin is a fibrous thing, but there's also other little pigment things that are good for you in the skin of the apple. But the thing is that it's not in the apple cider vinegar, so that argument doesn't really hold water.
It's not in there because they take the skin off initially, or
it just
dissolves in the bacteria or whatever.
I don't think they necessarily take the skin off, but then they don't leave the skin on there, obviously. So I think they would press it afterwards or something like that.
Okay,
I don't know. So the skin, either the skin. Yeah, I don't know if they cut the skin off or what the deal is with that, but obviously it's not in there at the end. So they said there may be like a teeny tiny bit, but for the main part, it's not in there. Actually, I do have something to bring up. Okay, have you heard of this stuff? Quercetin?
No.
So it's a hot new thing in the treatment of COVID. Right, I've been having some patients come in and looking for this stuff. Yeah, and it is a flavonoid, which is a plant pigment that is in plants like red wine, which obviously that would be from grapes, red onions, green tea. It is in apples. It's in certain berries, ginkgo, elderberry. So it's the pigment off of the berry that they think helps with COVID. And actually, a doctor came in and they were showing me that at the pharmacy that it's on one of the protocols for a hospital near here, and I was like, "Whoa, that's interesting." Now it's not a national thing.
How do you think
it's
how does it work exactly? Does it block the COVID?
They said it has to do with boosting your immune system and then helping with inflammation, which are both things obviously that would be helpful with COVID. But there actually, now while we were talking, I just looked up a study from 2016 that says that's what it does, inflammation. And let me look at the conclusion here. It says that whether it acts as an immune booster needs to be verified, but it does have anti-inflammatory effects. Okay, there you go. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I just thought, when I said that about the plant, sort of pigment things, it made me think of that. So same sort of idea, but with the heart disease thing. They think that it sort of is supposed to attract the LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. But they had a Japanese study with apple cider vinegar where they had 0 change over 12 weeks in LDL while taking apple cider vinegar. So it wasn't a huge study, but I don't think it's it's accurate. One site I was looking at that was like, they're like, it's like a broom for your arteries. It's like, that'd be nice. That would be nice, man. I need like a plunger for mine. So then the other thing is a probiotic, right? So it would seem that the way that if you get the one with the mother, right, that's bacteria, that would be good, right? That would work. It would be a probiotic. It would be bacteria. But they've analyzed it, and it's not the same kind of bacteria that, or not. There's a ton of bacteria that live in your gut, right? And so I know we discussed this when old Marvin was on one time, but he was saying with that, you're going to affect the cultures in your stomach, I guess, by putting more in there, and that may change your GI tract going forward, but the way that there's only a few type of bacteria in this, so overall it doesn't really show to have a lot of effects on your overall gut health. But I don't think that the bacteria that it has is not harmful, and it could be somewhat beneficial, but it has it's not like a probiotic, and it's not like Culturelle. It's not like you're drinking Culturelle or something like that. And John can take this one, tooth whitening, man. So they make sure and they warn you on all the stuff I was looking up. They were like, it's apple cider vinegar is safe, but you definitely want to dilute it with water. You don't want to do like what I was doing, just shooting it, because it can, at that point, it can erode your enamel.
Yeah.
So if it's not diluted, and then also it will work on your esophagus the lining of your esophagus. It doesn't really affect your stomach lining because stomach acid's more acidic than apple cider vinegar, actually.
Nice. So it just
right?
burns going down, right?
Burns going down, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like I would think
Tequila.
it's almost like a teeth whitening if you use, instead of apple cider vinegar, like Pepsi to brush your teeth with. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but then it's brown, so then you're like burning the enamel and then staining it. But this stuff is brown too. It's not as brown as cola. Jeez. Pepsi.
Well, that's
you're a Pepsi guy or Coke?
Coke. I mean, we're in the
of course.
South, man. Everything's a Coke.
We're in the South, baby.
Yeah, so I was
yeah.
thinking, have you ever saw that thing where someone threw a penny in a Coke and left it for like a year and it was completely...
isn't that sick? Gone. Completely gone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy, man. I know. Pepsi. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even like regular... I know we had this discussion with Dr. Pepper, but I only drink... I'm used to the diet ones now.
Yeah. Well, apparently those are worse.
Which I know they're not
you.
better for me. I know.
I know they don't have the sugar in it.
Used to the flavor. Used to the flavor,
Yeah.
The fakeness.
Yeah.
A nice aspartame flavor.
Dude, we've been drinking a lot of coconut water.
Oh,
yeah.
How do you like it?
I love it, man. Like, we get it from Costco.
Feeling hydrated?
I just like the way it tastes. I never noticed it before, but I think it's good. I know it's got like a lot, natural sugars in it and stuff, but yeah.
I don't think it has a ton of sugar though.
Yeah, I don't know, but it tastes great to me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know I should get into drinking that stuff more. That stuff is supposed to, be good hydration. Tom Brady recommends it.
Yeah.
No, I do think it's I think coconut water is good. I don't know how much better hydrating it is than just regular water, but I do think it would be better, better for you than like drinking a bunch of Gatorade.
Yeah.
I do know a lot of people who swear by that stuff for hangovers, but I need to try it. I need to start stocking some. Yeah, not that I ever drink alcohol.
Well, Costco has it like super cheap. That's why we get it.
Yeah, that's why you got to get it. You got to didn't you got the kombucha too, right?
Yeah, she buys the kombucha. I'm kind of getting out of that though.
He's moving away from the kombucha. Yeah. He's moving to the coconut flavor of the week. Yeah, man. Oh, I meant to say, shout out to Nicole, his wife's newest podcast. Okay. I don't know if you want to cut this and put it at the beginning, but shout out to Every Day's a Holiday by the Taco Cast Network. Our newest podcast on the network is fantastic. Yeah. Listen to them all. 2 minutes, you can just hear some fun stuff about. It's almost like that Rick Moranis, not Rick Moranis. Who the frick is that guy? Yeah, it was on Double Dare and not Guts.
I don't
Double
know,
Dare.
Man.
The dude was on Nickelodeon. Anyway, he used to do how it's made and all that stuff. You go to a factories.
Man. We were a Cartoon Network type of family.
Oh, I gotcha. Dexter's Laboratory.
Laboratory.
Yeah. I was always wondered why he had an accent and then the rest of the family did.
Here's a trivia question for you. Can you name Dexter's sister? What's her name?
Dee Dee.
Oh, dang it. You got it. Good.
Dee Dee. My laboratory. I don't know why he had an accent and none of the rest of the family did. All right, we'll get to that mole removal because this one I was like, what? It actually, so this is crazy. It will work. You can remove moles with apple cider vinegar.
Oh, wow.
But they said people who have done it end up with a huge discolored spot. So almost like a scar. So you lose the mole, but you get a bigger spot where you burned it off because the acid is burning your skin.
Oh, shit. Does it also work for herpes? I'm asking for a friend.
You just dip whatever and then to leave it and, Yeah, sure, No.
That's crazy, man. Jesus.
It is crazy.
I'm surprised it works. I mean, I guess it just...
I know, I am too. I mean, it would be like the penny in the Pepsi, I guess, but I wonder what it... Gosh, you know what we need to see? That's what we need to do. I got some moles. We can do an experiment.
Do you really?
I'll put it on the. Huh?
Like not
Where?
on your face though.
No, I mean I have like some like one on my tummy, my arms and stuff.
Try it,
I could like I've had to have a couple removed. I had one like because I'm real moly, but not on my face. Luckily, you ever hear that Larry the Cable Guy thing about the his sister? My sister's face is covered with moles. We used to call her Holy Moly. It's so funny. It's just like, one day we took her to the zoo, and there was this boy there that had no arms and legs, and I said, look at that. You should be ashamed of yourself worrying about your moles, because she was just saying, my moles, my moles, my moles, my moles. And she said, you know what, you're right. I'm going to start appreciating my moles. And then I heard that boy with no arms and legs go by and say, good Lord, you see the moles on that girl's face? I love that one. I got a customer that sounds exactly like him. It's crazy.
Dude.
At first, I thought it was him. I was like, holy shit, this Larry the Cable Guy is one of my customers? How am I going to keep this quiet? And you see the moles on his face. All right, so here's a bunch of other shit that doesn't work. But, I mean, it's not all bad. We had some good stuff. Allergies, acne, bloating, gas, which bloating and gas, I would think it would make it worse, because it kind of upsets your stomach. Irritable bowel syndrome, arthritis. I don't know how it would work for hiccups.
Yeah, that's weird.
Leg cramps. That's an interesting one. I guess they think that since it has... So we'll get into the nutrition facts of it here in a second. I guess the electrolytes in it would help, but it has not been proven to cure or treat any of those conditions. So here's the nutrition facts. So this is per 100 grams. So just for instance, the recommended thing for all this stuff was 15 milliliters. So 1 gram is 1 milliliter. So this would be a lot. 100 grams, 100 milliliters.
Jeez.
Yeah. So 6.6 tablespoons, 6.66667,
Yeah.
6 2/3 tablespoons. That's 6. This is 6 times, more than 6 times what a lot of these had 2. So, 2 tablespoons was their dose split up. But anyway, 100 grams of that, 93.81 is grams of water. There's no fat, no protein, almost 1 gram of carbs. And so it's almost 0 carbs, like we were saying. So it's got 7 milligrams of calcium, 0.2 milligrams of iron, 5 milligrams of magnesium, 8 milligrams phosphorus, 73 milligrams potassium, 5 milligrams sodium, and then negligible little amounts of zinc, copper, magnesium, and selenium. So the potassium is why I guess people thought it would work for cramps and also like nutritional support. They're like, hey, it's a good source of potassium.
Wait.
So to get that 73, you'd have to take more than 6.5 tablespoons. And so for it to do the math, 11 milligrams is in a 15 ml serving. I don't know why to just say that right off the bat, but considering that the recommended daily intake of potassium is 2,800 milligrams per day for women and 3,800 a day for men, 11 milligrams is not going to get you there,
But you know what will? Coconut water.
Coconut water probably has a lot. Bananas have 400 milligrams a pop.
Oh, wow.
So that's almost, it's almost 40 times more just in one banana. So, all right. So we've talked about some good things for it. Risks of it, I would say it's pretty safe. The main thing is don't do like I did. Don't shoot it like a liquor. Mix it with water so it doesn't hurt your esophagus or your teeth. So you can eat away your enamel. It can cause stomach pain and throat and esophagus burns potentially. But other than that, pretty safe to try if you guys wanted to try it. And it's not that expensive. That's another thing is a lot of, there's nobody out there who's holding one source of it and saying you have to buy Bragg is like the one everyone uses, but they're not jacking their prices up. Bragg's still cheap. It's not really that expensive to buy.
Well, good for them, man. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think they're doing good. They're not out there peddling it as some sort of snake oil. So
Yeah.
it is quackery in some ways where it's not going to make you lose 100 pounds in a week. It may cause, like we saw in that one study, 2 pounds in a 12 weeks if you add it. But obviously diet and exercise, it can, maybe if you want a little extra something, it can boost it in. And it's, some people do, they say it makes them feel a little better. I just felt nauseated. So, but hey, I mean, that can, if it does it where it helps you with your blood sugar, it's not really going to affect your cholesterol or anything like that. So could help a little bit with weight loss, maybe a little blood sugar control. Don't expect miracles. If it's working for you and not causing a lot of stomach issues like it did for me, that's awesome. Hey, good on Bragg's for not. I'm bragging on Bragg's with the mother. They're not really jacking up their prices. They make a good product. I'm sure you can find other apple cider vinegar that's organic, raw, unfiltered. That's the stuff that we saw with a little bit of benefits was that. So, and it may just be the vinegar aspect of it, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty interesting one. I'd been wanting to look into it more to see, because you hear a lot about it. So
yeah, oh yeah, that was a good topic, man. Yeah. Seriously, like I've always wondered if it had any, truth to it.
I was actually hesitant to do it because I was worried about the scope of how much I would have to. I knew it would be a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So selfishly, I was like, well, I'll save it for later. But it actually wasn't too bad because a lot of people want to know. So the information was easy to find, the right information. Because that sometimes can be really difficult. It's defining the truth. Can be a little convoluted because a lot of people want to color it with their own. All right, well, that's going to be our show. If this episode really quacked y'all up and you want to support the crew, head on over to quackerypodcast.com/join to become an official quackhead. If you have an idea for a topic you want us to cover, you can let us know. Message us on social media. You can follow us on social media. You can also email us at quackerypodcast@gmail.com if you have an idea that you want us to follow a topic. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It makes a huge difference. Tell your friends, and as always, keep calm and quack on. And check out Every Day's a Holiday with Nicole.
Nice, thanks, man.